welcome back to my channel. I am so glad that you are here. And of course, that's a welcome back for those who are already part of the family, and welcome if you're new to the family. And hopefully you will decide to go ahead and subscribe and be a part of the family, because I definitely appreciate all of your viewing support. All right, so I am excited about this video. We are going to be getting into reality TV a little bit. I actually did a video, I want to say probably a couple days ago now. It's on the platform. If you haven't had an opportunity to take a watch at that, go ahead and do so after this one, of course. And we talked a little bit about Married to Medicine, and you know how much I really do enjoy that video, or how much I enjoy the video. I actually enjoy the show quite immensely. And so I hope that you will take an opportunity to go out and take a peruse of the video, because we were talking a little bit of extra behind the scenes stuff as far as my feelings and thoughts about some of the we'll just say content that was provided in the video. So we're just going to leave it at that, because I want you to go actually and view it if you haven't already done so. So we are going to be talking about a potential and looks to be possibly a new cast member for Married to Medicine coming up into the next season, which will be season 11. And then we're also going to be talking about Bravo's Real Housewives of Potomac, some shakeups going on over there with a few individuals who are confirmed exited. Now, the information, I think, about all three of the ones that had previously exited has been kind of floating around in the social media streets. So this may just be a recap of those three individuals within this sharing. So I will be going over that with you if you're not fully aware of that. And if you are, then, just sit back and just enjoy the information. And then lastly, we're going to go into Bravo's Real Housewives of Orange County. And I think that's actually going to be really timely and nice to go through, because we're talking about where they, who they were basically, and where are they now. So basically those housewives who used to be on the show but are no longer on the show, and just kind of getting a review of where it's happening with them now. So I'm excited about that. And plus, of course, the Real Housewives of Orange County, if you're watching it, is actually airing right now on Bravo. And I do owe you a recap and review for episode 2 and now for episode 3. So I will definitely be giving that to you. So again, if that's something you're interested in, make sure that you are subscribed so you don't miss those uploads that will be coming to you pretty shortly. So that being said, let's go ahead and get into the first sharing, which is the potential new castmate for Married to Medicine. All right. Now, according to TV show ace.com, it is sharing that Dr. Mimi, or Dr. Mirica Mimi Sanders, so she looks like she's going to be going by Mimi, will be joining the cast of Married to Medicine for season 11. She will be joining 7 of the returning cast members on the show. And here is what we know about the new cast member, plus what fans think about the new addition thus far. And there she is. All right, let's get into this. Who is Dr. Mirica Mimi Sanders? Well, Dr. Mimi is a psychiatrist who has been recruited for the upcoming season of Married to Medicine. She was spotted filming with the other cast members and recently released photos from the production company. Now, several sources have come forward with details about the newest Married to Medicine cast member. Mimi is married to a former NFL player, Steve Sanders. She refers to herself as your favorite psychiatrist. On top of being a doctor, she's also the CEO and medical director of Inner Community Health. And Inner Community Health is a mental health center she founded alongside her husband. Very interesting. Steve and Mimi share 2 young children. Apparently, they are also friends with returning Married to Medicine, cast member Dr. Contessa Metcalf and her other half, Scott, which secretly, I really do hope they do bring them back. Maybe not so secretly. I like Contessa. Dr. Contessa, I love her. So she needs to come back. Anyways, let's keep going. This is likely how they were introduced to the group and wound up on the Bravo show. Now, Married to Medicine wrapped up filming for season 11 recently. Dr. Heavenly Kimes, Dr. Jacqueline Walters, Letitia Lunsford, Phaedra Parks, Quad Webb, Dr. Simon Whitmore, and Toya Bush Harris are all returning for the season of the show as well. Okay, well, this is good. There is one person who was introduced during season 10, but won't be returning for season 11, and that is Dr. Alicia Igulum. And I'm okay with that. Let's see. Now we're going to get into how Married to Medicine fans have weighed in on the new cast member. So now fans have apparently shared the news of the last addition to the Married to Medicine cast on Reddit. Many people are excited to see how Dr. Mimi meshes with the others on the show. One fan pointed out that Alicia departing for season 11 was interesting. Oh, full time. She must have been good then because Alicia's mess with her husband had a lot of potential. Now, Married to Medicine has a very strong casting pool, they wrote. Another person had pointed out that there hasn't been a bad season yet, and I would agree. A second person had agreed, so I guess I could be the third. I feel blessed for every season they want to give us. Yet another viewer wrote, "This is the best show on Bravo. I can't wait." Now, another person had pointed out that there hasn't been a bad season yet. A second person had obviously agreed that it wasn't. But they also had several people who wondered how she would interact with the other women on the cast. More specifically, one person commented, "Wonder how Jackie, Simone, and Heavenly will antagonize her." Because, sometimes you might feel a little bit of a hazing that may potentially go on with one or two of the cast members from time to time. Now, another person had chimed in that Dr. Heavenly already has her sights set on her, I bet. So there's a giveaway to who one of those people may be. Now, others wondered why, if Dr. Mimi is friends with Contessa, why they wouldn't bring Contessa back to the show. Numerous people had begged for Phaedra Parks to leave the show. Wow, which is possibility because she's currently in talks about returning to Real Housewives of Atlanta. And quite frankly, like I've said before, I absolutely love Phaedra Parks and I love to see her on my television. I think she's great. And I personally would like to see her back on Real Housewives of Atlanta as well. I think that's definitely the home base for her. And then bring back Dr. Contessa back onto Married Medicine, and then all things will be right in the world. Now, there's no official release date for Married to Medicine season 11, but it is expected to premiere in spring of 2025. So I for sure am definitely looking forward to it. I think those who are fans of the show are definitely going to be looking forward to this new season as well. There was some ups and downs last season, and so I am glad that there has been some adjustment to that. No shade to Dr. Alicia, but I'm glad that she's been able to move on, hopefully to better pastures for herself and leaving room for someone else who might be a little bit more enjoyable to watch on the show. Now, I know some people may say, hey, look, they thought that she was good, and her husband, with his interesting ways of looking at gender roles, was somehow giving, I guess. But for me, I just was over it pretty quickly as I started to view it. So for me, I'm excited about this. I also do hope that this is a pathway to Dr. Contessa Metcalf and her husband Scott to come back to the show as well. I would also like to see more of what they have been doing through their practices and their businesses, and less about a demise of a marriage that I don't think it was existing at this point. I want to see them all in love and in repair mode, because it was quite painful to see the separational aspects of the relationship play out on screen, because I think there was so much more about them that I would have loved to have been able to watch and see. And of course, it does appear they are still together, so there's that. So I would love to see them both back on. I think they had a wonderful dynamic. The family situation with them was great, with them and their kids, and it was just a lot of fun to watch. So I'm hoping that that will open up that pathway for them to return. But I am excited, and if you are a Married to Medicine watcher, are you excited about this new shakeup with a new cast member? Let me know your thoughts. And do you think that Phaedra should return back to Real Housewives of Atlanta permanently as a permanent peach holder? I would say yes. And there's a couple others they can bring back too, but we're going to stay within this realm right now. All right. So that being said, let me know your thoughts on that story down in the comment section below. I would love to know. And we're going to move right on along to our second, which is a Real Housewives of Potomac and the shakeups that are happening that I find to be necessary for this show as well. So we're going to get into this story, and let's do so because JustJared.com is sharing that Real Housewives of Potomac season 9 cast shakeup is on the horizon, and 3 exits were confirmed. There have been some updates about the season 9 cast for The Real Housewives of Potomac. So far, 2 cast members were confirmed that they had been exiting, and one original cast member did confirm that Bravo let her go, and she will not be back for season 9. Probably won't be much of an issue for anyone to figure out who that was. So we're going to start off with Miss Candace Dillard Bassett, and apparently for her status, as we know, because she had actually shared pretty quickly after the reunion from last season that she was exiting the show, but she was not fired. So let's get into her sharing. The 37-year-old reality star and singer released a statement confirming her exit from the Bravo series ahead of the show's 9th season. She shared with People, as I embark on a new chapter after 6 remarkable years with the Real Housewives of Potomac, I am filled with gratitude for the enriching friendships, personal growth, and moments of introspection that have defined this journey. With a whirlwind of new opportunities and responsibilities on my plate, I have decided to take a break from Real Housewives of Potomac. She had continued, this is not a farewell, but a see you later. Your unwavering support has been my guiding light, and I look forward to the exciting adventures that lie ahead, and more importantly, sharing them with all of you, she says. Now, Candace had joined the show in season 3. While many will be wondering if she was fired or if she exited on her own, a source told People that she made the choice to leave the franchise on her own. And I 100% believe that that is exactly what went down. I think Candace's story is far from over. I hope that we do see a return of Candace. I know she could be a little bit bitey when it comes to social media. Maybe she'll be a different woman when she gets back. I don't know. Maybe not too different, because you do know she is with child. So I think part of the decision to exit the show for this time being is so she can peacefully go and have her baby, which has been quite an anticipating story in itself. It would be nice if we did get some kind of a documentary based type story, like kind of, what Portia did when she had her little girl, Pilar. But I don't know if we'll get the same, but we'll see. But anyways, in the meantime, we do wish Candace and Chris the very best, and obviously a very safe and just joyous delivery for Candace. This is going to be her first child. I believe Chris is third, and because he has 2 from a previous relationship or a previous marriage. I'm not sure if it's a relationship or just marriage, but nevertheless from a previous. And so we're all excited for her, and yeah, maybe she will be making her return, and I would be here for it for sure. So next up, we're going to be talking about Nneka Em, and that she was exiting. Now, this was the last one I think that they had actually shared about, and I wasn't too surprised about this exiting because her storyline, although I think that there was so much potential with Nneka, it just really turned sour really quick when they did the pitting against with her and Wendy. And I didn't like the way that was going. I felt it was such an unnecessary path to go. Sometimes I just feel like, instead of looking for, let's see who we can pinpoint as someone to just attack to get myself as a new person onto the canvas, why don't we just try the idea of just kind of being there and allowing my story to shine and allow me to get a good footing in first, instead of, offending everything. And then we see and go from there, because I do not see Wendy as a villain to the show. By a long shot, she is not a villain to the show. So this unnecessary stuff that, with the taboo and all that kind of stuff, it just really fell flat for me personally. If you watch Real Housewives of Potomac and you feel differently, I would surely love your respectable comments down below. Let me know your thoughts on that. I just thought that, I think that her tenure there would have been a lot longer and more fruitful, had maybe a different direction, had maybe more emphasis on what her own personal situation and story was with her infertility struggles, and all of that would have been a better way to kind of ride that wave. It would have made us more endeared to her. And maybe we would have saw a little bit more her way on things, instead of just, come and attack a particular cast member who's been here for years. I don't know. Just my thoughts. Love to know your thoughts down below. So now, basically, she is exiting and has already exited. She stated that I will not be returning for season 9 of RHOP. Nneka confirmed this to People as well, before sharing one of the reasons why she's leaving. So she says, at this point, after multiple failed fertility procedures, I've decided to make expanding my family my ultimate priority. This is how she continued. She added, thank you to the fans that I have supported me along the way this season, especially regarding my difficult IUI turned IVF journey and the stigma surrounding infertility. And that's why I said that staying on that path and really exploring more in depth with that was the path to go, because there's so much not just story, but just information and helpful stuff that could have been, really a benefit to audience watchers, for the show. So that would have been the way I would have stuck, and not so much the other stuff that really just didn't seem to suit her well. And I think she has a story to tell, and it would have just been nice if they could have just concentrated on that and maybe some few other things that would have kept her on longer. Now, all of the kind remarks have genuinely kept me uplifted and have fueled my determination to continue to share my story. As a true resident of Potomac proper, because we want to make sure that she let us know she actually does live in Potomac, 2820854. Just know that I'll be seeing you all again soon, Nika concluded. Now, Nika joined the cast for only one season. Now, the one that is probably no real surprise here. It wasn't much of a surprise to me. What was actually a surprise is that it took this long for it to happen, but it was a surprise that it happened. Good old Robin Dixon, and apparently she was fired. So Robin Dixon, an original cast member, had confirmed she was fired from the series and will not be appearing in season 9. Robin confirmed the news on her podcast, Reasonably Shady, sharing, "Yes, I will not be returning for season 9 of The Real Housewives of Potomac. It's reality. The network did not invite me back. I was fired, for lack of better words. I will not sugarcoat the situation, and say, oh, I am walking away and this is a break or anything like this. This is a network decision. I'm okay with it because nothing lasts forever. I've had a very long run on the show, and I just really appreciate that time and the opportunity that I had on the show," she shared. She continued, "Thank you to the fans who have watched us from day one. I do want to especially thank all the fans and viewers who have supported me, showed love to me, whether you directly sent me love or you prayed for me or you have positive thoughts around me. I appreciate you. And I hope I inspired you, the viewers, the fans, to live your life authentically. To not feel pressure to change or anyone or impress people, and just to be yourself." Very good lessons and words to live by, I would say. At the end of the day, I think that this is a tricky one for me because I actually like Robin. I liked a lot of her story. I think in the first few seasons, when it wasn't so much direction towards Juan and the things that were going on seemingly behind the scenes, maybe, or off the canvas or off the camera, I really appreciated her entrepreneurial spirit. I appreciated the aspect of the fact that they had trusted a very good friend of theirs, and with the investments, I believe is how that went, and that went south, and that individual had actually unalived themselves. It was obviously a very devastating situation to happen, and they had to really work towards rebuilding their life, especially financially. And I think that there was a lot of story there to tell, and I appreciated that being shared with us. I appreciated seeing the entrepreneurial spirit, as I shared before, that Robin had, and we saw a lot of the different things with the house flipping, her with her hats, was the embellishing of the hats, and also what seemingly needs to be that she was going to be franchising a business as well, or in part of a franchise. So it would have been nice to see more of that. Her sons were adorable, and it would have been nice to see more of that family interaction. But unfortunately, we won't, at least at this time, see that. Does it mean that she could come back later on down the line? I think it's highly unlikely, but you never know, right? But do wish her well with all of her business adventures as well. Wish her children well, and her marriage as well to Juan. So that being said, we're going to move on to the next, and that is going to be Miss Giselle Bryant. And of course, we all know Giselle very, very well. Her status apparently is unknown. Right now, we are awaiting news about the other cast members of RHOP, and Giselle has appeared on all 8 seasons of the show, so we all kind of know that as well. Moving on next, we have Miss Ashley Darby. Her status too is unknown, and Ashley Darby has not confirmed if she's returning, or exiting. She's been featured since season 1. So of course, Giselle, Ashley, and Robin are day 1, season 1 veterans to the show. And also this lady here, Miss Karen Huger, known also as what is the oh Jesus, I just lost it. Madam of Potomac. Grand Dame of Potomac. I just lost that. But there you go. She's known as the Grand Dame. And apparently, now that Nick is gone, her title as Grand Dame stays intact. But Karen Gruber, her status apparently is unknown. Also saying that we're awaiting word if the OG cast member Karen Huger is returning or not. So personally, I think that of all things equal, we will see all of those individuals back. And let me see if we had anyone else here as well. Wendy Osafo should also be part of this as well. Yes. Her status is unknown. She joined the cast in season 5, but it is unclear if she'll be back. I want to see Wendy back. And then lastly, we have Miss Mia Thornton. And I want to see Mia back as well. Her status is unknown. And then she had joined the cast in season 7, but it's unclear if she'll be back. So, of course, with the shakeups, this is going to mean that they're looking for some new individuals to pretty much be wedged in with the other ladies, I feel. The majority of them are going to be back, except the 3 that are not here. And I'm looking forward to who the new season ladies will be. I do wonder, though, if Ashley Darby is going to be returning. I don't know. That one's always kind of a coin toss-up for me, because with Ashley, I need her to have a storyline, and it needs to be something other than pitting one of her friends who has nothing to do with the show, bringing her on the show to pit her against another cast member, and then for it to all blow up where now we have lawsuits flying for foolishness that she really is a start of, in my opinion. So had it not been for her bringing on that individual, we would not be in this position now. So I'm pretty sure that that has a lot to do with some things as well, as far as what her fate may be. I just need her to come better. And I think that Ashley could do better with storyline if there was something else going on besides just her moving into a house. Is she starting a business? I believe she is supposed to be with Giselle, that they started some type of athleisure business. So I would love to see more about that. I would love to see more of her entrepreneurial spirit in that, because she did run a restaurant with her husband, and that did not last. But, you know, at least we got to see another dynamic of Ashley, and I really appreciate it. I know that Bone Collector is a really great feature to have as a characteristic, so to speak, but there needs to be something else going on as well. So yeah, hopefully we will see something soon as to what's going to happen in the fate of the show with these new ladies. But for sure, a bit of a revamping is obviously in order, and we'll just see how things go. And of course, I want to know how Mia's doing too, with all of the changes happening in her life. And yeah, I think we'll be ready to go, and probably eagerly awaiting how this is going to look for next season. So let's go ahead and move on to our next sharing, which is going to be putting us into the Real Housewives of Orange County, which, if you are watching, you know that this is actually a season 18, I believe we are in now, that's actually going on. So this is kind of timely in the sense that we're now going to talk about some of those individuals, since the season is starting new right now, of those that have been here before and are not anymore. So let's go ahead and get into this. Now, according to Parade.com, they wanted to ask the question, and I was kind of interested myself, because I always like to know how things end off with people, especially those who are not on the show. Where are the former Real Housewives of Orange County cast members now? Now, as the OG Housewives, the RHOC cast has gone through many configurations, and here's the latest on the franchise's former stars. Now, before New York, Atlanta, Jersey, or Beverly Hills, there was Orange County. Yes, the Real Housewives of Orange County kicked off the long-running Bravo franchise back in March of 2006, if you can believe it, following the personal and professional lives of a group of women residing in the OC area of Southern California. Though all of those original ladies have since departed, the program has full-time cast members, a few including Vicky Gumbelson, Gina Kiko, and Joe, will make guest appearances in the 8th season of the show. What happened to other former OG housewives like Lori Peterson and Kimberly Bryant, or one-and-done cast members like Peggy Sullivan, Elizabeth Lynn Vargas, and Quinn Fry? Here's an update on all of those previously featured cast members from RHOC, including when and why the California girls departed the Bravo series. Where are the former cast members of The Real Housewives of Orange County now? Well, we're going to start off with the first one, which would be Miss Kimberly Bryant from season 1. Now, I actually did not start watching Housewives, period, because I think OC was probably the first Housewives show I watched, although there was other franchises on the scene at that time. But I did not watch the first few seasons of it. And I don't remember when I kind of tapped in, but it definitely wasn't the first season. So this will be a little bit new to me. But maybe if you've been watching it and you've been a long fan of the show, you'll recognize some of these individuals on this list. And therefore, it'll be maybe a treat for you to know where they are now, too. So a main player in RHOC's inaugural season, Kimberly Bryant, had decided to leave the full-time cast after season 1, relocating to Chicago with her family. She appeared on the show in a guest capacity for seasons 2 through 4 while she was still living in Illinois. She was kept a relatively low profile in the years since, even opting out of joining the original RHOC cast for a special 10-year reunion in 2016. It was reported that she and her husband foreclosed on their home back in 2013, but she hasn't made headlines since. Next up, we have Miss Jo De La Rosa. She was on seasons 1 and 2. RHOC fans remember Jo De La Rosa and her relationship with then fiance Slade Smiley, who would later go on to date a fellow OCer Gretchen Rossi from the first 2 seasons of the Cali Set series. De La Rosa exited the series as a regular cast member in 2007 when she and Smiley's engagement ended. Though the pair continued their reality career with the Housewives spinoffs Date My Ex, Jo and Slade, she is now married to musician Teron Gray, and 17 years after her RHOC debut, Jo will be returning to the franchise as a guest star in season 18. Love that for her. Next up, we have the OG of the OC, Vicki Gunvalson, who did seasons 1 through 13. Now, one of the mainstays of the Real Housewives of Orange County, Gunvalson has given fans some of the most iconic fights and memorable, if I can get that word out, the memorable one-liners in the show's history. Vicki departed the series as a main cast member after season 13, believing that Bravo was after newer blood for the show. However, she hasn't cut ties with the network and made her a star, and she has since come back as a friend of an RHOC season 14 and a guest star in season 17 and 18. She was also on the ill-fated and never aired 5th season of The Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip, which we will most likely never get to see. Next up, we have Gina Keogh, seasons 1 through 5. She was a former actress, model, and Playboy playmate. Gina was an original cast member on RHOC and made regular guest appearances on the series even after departing as a full-time member. After leaving the show, Gina divorced her ex-husband, Matt, in 2019 following a 15-year separation. She also became a grandmother as her daughter, Cara, had welcomed 2 children with NFL player Kyle Bosworth. Now, Gina and Cara made headlines in July 2024 when the daughter called out her reality star mother for posting heavily edited pictures on social media. Oh, that's fun. And also, too, there was one fight in particular that she had with, who was it? Tamra. I don't know if they're friends now. I think they've kind of reconciled a bit, but boy, was that quite an epic issue that lasted for a long time as far as seasons to come. They just were like oil and water, those two. All right, so moving on, Lori Peterson. Now, Lori Peterson was in seasons 1 through 4. She was a staple of the RHOC cast for the show's first 4 seasons. Lori Peterson hasn't appeared on the series since her guest star cameos in seasons 5 and 8. Since her exit, Lori has been focused mainly on her family and spending time with her husband, George, and her 3 children, Ashley, Sophie, and Joshua. Sadly, Josh, who Lori had adopted in 2015 amid his struggles with substance abuse, lost his battle with addiction and passed away on March 31st, 2024. I'm very sorry to hear that. And he was the age of 35. No one could ever prepare you for this feeling of such deep loss. Every fiber in my body hurts, Peterson had shared on social media. And definitely thoughts and prayers go out to Lori and her family. That must have been, and obviously, a very devastating loss for them. So definitely my condolences. Next, we have Tammy Knickerbocker. Now, she was on seasons 2 and 3. She was a full-time housewife during seasons 2 and 3. Tammy chose to leave the show to focus on her grieving daughters, Lindsay and Megan. Tammy's ex-husband, Lou, had tragically was unalived in a car accident in 2007. And to expand her self-owned business, Tammy will reunite with her old co-star Tamra Judge and the rest of the OC ladies as a guest star in season 18. So we'll get to see her and see how she's doing in real time. She recently reflected on rejoining the franchise while commenting on a reunion picture on Tamra's Instagram. Was thinking I had my 40th birthday on Bravo and can't believe it's been 20 years, Tammy had wrote. Bravo gave me such amazing memories, a lifetime, and new friends. That's very sweet to hear that. And again, sorry for her loss as well. Next up, we have Quinn Fry, who was a one-seasoner, season 3 that is. She had joined the Real Housewives of Orange County midway through its 3rd season, but was not asked back for season 4. Bravo was making a few cast changes. She reportedly posted to her MySpace at the time, if you remember MySpace. I must have not been the right fit on the show or too old or whatever. She did, however, make guest appearances for the following 3 seasons. Post RHOC, Quinn had moved to North California to spend time with her daughter Shannon and her 4 grandkids. Now, next up, we have Lynn Curtin. And Lynn, boy, was Lynn a bit of a riot. If you remember her. It's interesting that she was only there for 2 seasons, but it felt like she was there longer because she was just someone who, she was kind of like the ever ready bunny for me because she was getting it from all ends there in the beginning, that hazing kind of part. And she just kept on getting up there. I mean, and then she was funny to boot. And at the same time, just kind of like, whatever, So basically, seasons 4 and 5 is where Lynn had graced our screens. So SoCal native Lynn Curtin became a housewife during the middle of RHOC season 4 and retained her main cast status through season 5. After her exit, she filed for divorce from her husband, Frank, not once, but twice, when the first 2012 case didn't stick because Frank never appeared in court. Lynn refiled 5 years later. The family troubles did continue in 2018 when her daughter Alexia was charged with possession of a controlled substance. And more recently, she's been promoting her jewelry, her jewelry line, which she was actually working on at the time she was on the show, and hanging out with other former RHOC cast members, according to Instagram. So hopefully Alexia is on the path of going the right direction. And Lynn, Lynn is just Lynn, boy. I tell you, Lynn will just kind of roll with the punches and then just keep on coming. So yeah, maybe we'll get to see her as a visitor from time to time. That would actually be nice. So moving on to our next one, Gretchen Rossi. Now, a RHOC star from seasons 4 and 8, Gretchen Rossi reportedly left the series because she wanted to focus on having a baby with her partner, Slade Smiley. After being publicly open about her IVF journey, Gretchen had welcomed daughter Skylar in June of 2019. The couple went through a tragedy in February 2023 when Slade's young son, Grayson Arios Smiley, had passed away following a long battle with brain cancer. Gretchen had honored Grayson on social media and wrote that his passing prompted her to be clear going into 2024 of what I want out of this life and how and who I want to do it with and what is most important. And it's definitely a lesson that is learned in most cases when someone is sadly departs from us. So definitely condolences go to Gretchen and Slade, of course, and his family in regards to their passing. And congratulations to her baby girl being born. I know that that was a really important journey for them on the show, and it was somewhat spoke about and, yeah, addressed on the show as well. So I'm glad that she was able to have that wish come true for her. And Gretchen is also another one that I would love to see back in the future as well as an actual real main cast member. If they can bring back Alexis, bring back Gretchen. That's just my feelings, but we'll see what happens. So our next one is, well, not her. Let's see, but her. Good old Alexis Bellino, who, if you are watching Real Housewives of Orange County now, is currently on the season as a friend. I feel trying to gun for a main orange. So let's get into this. Well, we'll catch up with Alexis Bellino, who was cast as a California housewife from seasons 5 through 8 on RHOC this season, and thank the TV gods for that. Following her divorce from ex Jim Bellino in 2018, after 13 years of marriage, Alex became engaged to Andy Bowen in December 2020, but called things off in September 23. She then began dating John Jansen, who you might remember as ex of Bellino's former OC co-star Shannon Bedore, which means plenty of drama ahead for the women this season. Yes, indeedy. Plenty of drama. Moving on to Miss Peggy, who I believe also was a one-time person. Season 6. Peggy Teneus. The holistic-minded Peggy only lasted one season, the show's 6th installment, leaving after frequent conflicts with co-star Alexis Bellino, whose husband Peggy had previously a relationship with, reportedly worsened her depression. Following her time on the show, Peggy worked on a 2016 documentary called When the Bow Breaks, in which she and women like actress Brooke Shields, singer Carney Wilson, and celebrity chef Arati Sakura shared their experiences with postpartum depression. And I do remember a bit of conversation starting with Peggy in regards to that. Another individual that maybe she had stayed on could have really provided more helpful information for the audience at the time. So yeah, it was sad to see her go. Next up, we have Miss Lydia McLaughlin, and she was there for seasons 8 and 12. Now, when self-proclaimed world traveler, fashion aficionado, and digital darling Lydia McLaughlin announced that she would be withdrawing from RHOC after season 8, she assured Bravo fans that there was no epic story behind her exit. She simply needed a break. She wrote on her blog, OC Lydia, RHOC has given me a great platform, and I'm grateful for that. However, I feel like I can only handle the show one season at a time, and she would return to the program, albeit 4 years later for season 12. Though she only lasted for one season then, too. Since her second departure, Lydia has been working on the luxury men's magazine Noble Men with her husband Doug and raising their 3 boys. Next up, we have Lizzie Rhoc. Hope I'm saying that right. And I liked Lizzie. Lizzie was fun. I think she was an astrophysicist or something like that. She was on season 9. According to her Instagram bio, RHOC alum Lizzie has been busy as a health and wellness coach, an integrative health coach, a podcast host, and a boy mom. She shares sons Preston and Keaton with her ex-husband Christian. While she left the show after season 9, she has appeared periodically as a friend of and guest star from seasons 10 through 15. Next up, we have Megan King, the bane of Brooks Vicky Gunvalson's ex's existence. She was on seasons 10 through 12. After starring on RHOC for 3 seasons between 2015 and 2017, Megan King Evans announced her departure on her blog, saying that she wanted more time with her family. Good timing, because just 6 months later, she and her husband, former St. Louis Cardinals baseball player Jim Edmonds, had welcomed a pair of twin sons, Hayes and Hart. In October 2019, however, she and Jim split after 5 years of marriage when he was caught sexting another woman. In the aftermath of her divorce, Megan had dated several men, including Christian Schaff and Will Ruse, but her most notable relationship was with lawyer Cuffy Biden Owens, who she wed in 2021, but divorced a year later. And next up, another controversial individual would be Kelly Dodd. She was here for seasons 11 through 15. She says, I had a great 5 years on RHOC. Kelly Dodd posted on Twitter when Bravo let her go in June of 2021. She was reportedly dismissed from the franchise after making politically incorrect jokes and speaking out against mask mandates. Ultimately, I got fired because of myself. I'm the one who got myself fired, she said on 2021. Appearance on Sirius XM's Jeff Lewis Live. I was causing Bravo a lot of grief. Since her reality TV run had ended, Dodd had married former Fox News reporter Rick Leventhal, with whom she hosts a YouTube podcast called The Rick and Kelly Show. Next up, we have Peggy Leon, season 12. When Peggy debuted on the premiere of RHOC season 12 in 2017, she made Bravo history as the franchise's 100th housewife and its first Armenian American star. Though historic, her time on The Real Housewives of Orange County wasn't long, as she announced that she would be returning on season 13. In the years since, Peggy has launched a line of hair products and continues to live in the exclusive Crystal Cove area of Orange County with her husband, Dico, and their 3 children, Giovanna, Janelle, and Coco. And I liked Peggy. She was really sweet. Next up, we have Bronwyn. Controversy, maybe. Wyndham Burke. She was on seasons 14 and 15. Another housewife that makes me feel like she was on there a lot longer than just 2 seasons. But here we go. Former housewife Bronwyn Wyndham Burke has seen a lot of change in her life since her 2-season run on the show ended in 2021. A year later, the mom of 7 filed for divorce from her husband, Sean Burke, after 23 years of marriage and began dating her girlfriend, Jennifer Spinner. And in 2020, Wyndham Burke had came out as gay and was in an open marriage with Sean thereafter. The now engaged couple has also relocated from Orange County to Franklin, Tennessee. Things are really different now, but they're also really good, the 46-year-old TV personality told US Weekly. And I hope it's good for Sean as well, because that was a little bit painful to watch too. Her whole time was pretty painful to watch, but yeah, hopefully all is well with her, Sean, and this children as well. Next up, we have Elizabeth Lynn Vargas. She was here for just season 15. The sole season that Elizabeth Lynn Vargas appeared on RHOC season 15 was a weird one for the franchise, as it was filmed during the time that the world was practically shut down. Now, despite filming during this time and not really getting to know all the ladies fully, this past year has been the most extraordinary, amazing, and beautiful experience of my life. Vargas had wrote her exit announcement on Instagram in 2021. Having been let go alongside Kelly Dodd and Bronwyn Wyndham Burke, she says that I'm so proud of the work we have done and the friendships we were able to build. Off screen, Vargas found herself in a major legal drama in 2023 after her ex-boyfriend, Ryan Girardi, was sentenced to 6 years in prison for assaulting and extorting the former reality star. And I do remember when that hit the news circuit. Next up, we have Jen Armstrong, and she's another one-hit wonder as well. Season 16, a 1-season wonder, Dr. Jen Armstrong was fired by Bravo after appearing in season 16 of the franchise. At the time, the cosmetic dermatologist posted on social media that she was stepping away from RHOC to focus on her family and her work, but that she was so grateful to have the privilege to talk about my father, my kids, and a real modern relationship on national television. And speaking of what modern relationship, Jen initially had to file for divorce from husband Ryan, that's spelled R-Y-N-E, Holiday, after 8 years of marriage, but happily revealed to Reality T in April 2024 that the couple was back together. And that's great because, you know, I feel like they were a relationship that was already teetering on the end by the time they got on to reality TV, and that just kind of sent it over the edge more. And so to see that they left, obviously was able to work it out and get back together, be together, and maybe hopefully in a much better enriched area and not just a repeat of what was happening before she had joined the show in the first place. So moving on to our next, and I believe our final, where is she now, housewife, Noella Bergener. I hope I'm saying that right. Season 16, another one-hit wonder. She actually came in as a new housewife with Jen Armstrong. So, like fellow season 16 star Jen Armstrong, Noella came and went quickly in the Real Housewives universe. After a wild season of ups and downs, I will not be returning to the Real Housewives of Orange County, Noella had shared and wrote in her Instagram story in July of 2022. Thank you to all of the fans for all of the love and support during quite possibly the hardest year of my life. I'm looking forward to brighter skies ahead and can't wait to share what's next. Happily, one of those life events included a marriage proposal from her boyfriend, Bobby Shalinski, in October of 23, which I'm extremely happy for her because, quite frankly, she came on the show with the storyline being that her husband basically up and just left her, and he was off somewhere in Puerto Rico. She couldn't get a hold of him, couldn't get a divorce going, couldn't even get him to answer her. So it was really a devastating situation to watch. Obviously, we may not know all the ins and outs of that. I believe he was an attorney, and so there's a lot of hush-hush around that storyline, but this is what we were given at the time that she was on the show. She did have a son, and I believe it's a special needs situation as well. So I do hope things continue well for her and her son. Her mother was on the show with her, which was great because she had some family support there. She talked about her father, and her father had passed away. I'm not sure how many years before or if it was in that same season. I can't quite recall at that time, but there was a lot of meat there, and I would have really liked to see Noella stay on, but it just became more or less a cat fight with Heather the whole time, and that got old. But I just felt there was so much more for her to give, and I wish that we could have had more time to see that. She was quite a spirited individual, and I think it's also something that would have been helpful to see and experience more in a different way on the show, because it definitely needed that jolt, and she gave it to them. So yeah, wishing Noella the best as well, and with her new engagement, I hope that works well, and I hope that the circumstances surrounding that marriage will be much different than what she previously has experienced for her and all involved. So that being said, I think that about does it for this video. I would love to know your thoughts, and if you've got any commentary in regards to the individuals that we talked about, the housewife ladies, and as far as them going, and there's some of them that you wish would come back. Would you like to see some? Are you glad that that they're not here on the show? Feel free to share your thoughts if you are watching Real Housewives of Orange County below. I would love to know that. So that being said, I think I'm going to bid you adieu for this video. Again, if you enjoyed the video, please be sure to give it a like if you haven't already done so. I would so help the video, of course, and I would truly appreciate it. And obviously, too, if you have not already subscribed and you're new here, go ahead and subscribe. I would love for you to be part of the family. So yeah, I definitely would just love for us to be able to, kind of chat it up in the comment section about these stories here. So be sure to leave your respectful thoughts down in the comment section below. And with that, I do have another video dropping. So make sure you got your notification bells turned on so you can catch that next one. But until then, take care. Bye.